بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. So today's topic is called When You Are a Broke College Student. Again, the discussion and the theme of the entire series of lectures on adab, etiquettes and manners. So, the first question is, how can we optimize on the lack of money that we have? So, as college students, many of us are just kind of studying, regardless of if your parents are rich or not. You may not have or make a lot of money. And it becomes a big struggle for college students, at least when I was a college student, to even have food to eat during lunchtime, or kind of stuff with like ramen noodles or something like that, depending on the college you go to. And I often hear students say, and I have said myself as well, that I don't have the money for this, I'm too broke, whatever it is. Whether we say it as a joke or we mean it seriously, it's sad. And it gives the perception that we can't really do much that we could do had we had any money. If I had money, I would have done it, right? If I had money, I would have done something about it. Now, the focus of today's discussion, again, is coming from Kitab al-Adab and Riyadh al-Salihin. The discussion is on risk and sadaqah, right? Because naturally, generally speaking, people think that, okay, people who give charity is through money, right? So if I have money, I give charity. This is a general understanding. Now, if you're beyond that understanding, it's good, right? But if you go to the general public, if you go to a masjid and you ask somebody, how much have you given in charity this year? What will be the response? It will be a monetary value, right? They'll say, I gave $500, I gave $1,000, I gave $10,000. No one will say anything beyond numbers. And that's kind of how the world looks at charity. So my focus today is for us to look at the concept of charity differently as college students, right? And the way we should look at it is the same way we should teach everybody, especially young children. So for us, that's how we're learning, as if we're young children, right? Because if charity was just simply based upon money, then a lot of us would be missing out on a lot of rewards. Right? So I want us to focus specifically on how we can change our perspective of charity itself. So what is the hadith? The hadith is very Muslim that Abu Dharr reports that Messenger of Allah said that do not disdain a good deed, no matter how small it may be, even if it is meeting with your Muslim brother or sister with a cheerful face. And this itself is a form of charity. This itself is a form of charity. Now I want to talk about some things right here. And these things all relate back to our adab, our manners. And if we can try to take one of these few things that I'm mentioning today and actually implement it to our daily life and our schedule and our interactions, I think inshallah will bring some benefit. Firstly, keeping it simple, don't overlook any deed. So the Prophet ﷺ said that. He said, don't disdain a good deed, no matter how small it may seem, even if it is meeting your brother with this cheerful face. So sometimes what happens is we have this comparative realm in our head that we see someone do something that looks amazing. So, for example, not to throw Mahmoud under the bus, but let's say, okay, president of MSA, oh my God, right? Everything is basically him, the president. But there's a board member of 9 or 10 people, right? Maybe there's a board member who does very much, maybe the most, and that person's name is not even known. I don't know. But people have this comparison going on in their head, and we do it to ourselves, that sometimes we overlook our own deeds. To say that, wow, this person, I can never be like this person. Look at what they're doing, look at what I'm doing. Right? Look at what they're doing, look at what I'm doing. And why am I saying this? Because it goes back to the whole being broke concept. That people are donating so much money, I'm a college student, I can't give money. I'm a college student, Ramadan comes around, I can't raise my hand, right? I can't raise my, unless it's for a question, I can't raise my hand. That's all I can raise my hand for, right? And that's my situation. But my focus is to show you that, no, that's not the situation. Islam doesn't work like that. Every Ramadan when it comes around, and every time there's a fundraiser, wherever it is, you should find a way for yourself to give without necessarily giving. And we'll talk about that. But the first thing we have to talk about is the fact that we don't overlook our own deeds, right? Because we go into this negative approach. That everything you do, nothing matters anymore. Whatever I do doesn't matter. And it happens because people don't usually appreciate what we do, right? People don't appreciate what we do. So when the Prophet ﷺ says, do not disdain any good deed, do not disdain any good deed, it works two ways. One, you for yourself, don't be so sad by whatever risk Allah has given you to say, oh, I cannot do more. Maybe, and risk is not just money, risk is also the time you have. Time is money too, but time is also risk, right? So some people might say, I'm so busy, I don't have time to volunteer, right? And maybe you are actually very busy. I'm so busy, I don't have time to give back. I'm so busy, I don't have time to help my friend. Whatever it is. Don't feel that the lack of risk, quote unquote, that you think is a lack, is a limiting factor for you. That you can't give sadaqah for yourself. So stay positive in that sense. The bigger point, the second point, because there's two ways to this. The second way to approach this is to understand that, look, when people do things for you, even if it feels small, appreciate them. When people do things for you, even if it's small, appreciate them. So yes, for yourself, first and foremost, make sure you stay positive. Make sure you're still moving forward. That you're actually saying, you know what? The things that I'm doing, the things that I'm carrying out, they actually do make an impact. Not in a way of arrogance. Not in a way to say that, yeah, I'm making a big change, but no. If you actually believe what you are doing has an impact on a larger scale, with the right intention, what will happen is that you will develop a sense of consistency towards serving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His deen. That's big. That's big. If you are someone who comes in here and sets up these rugs for people to sit on every single lecture, that is the only job you do. Every single lecture, every week, that's your only job. That's what you're doing. You are providing a space and a place for people to come learn ilm, some way or another. Even if they're not learning from me, at least they heard a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ. You are facilitating that affair. Right? So if someone appreciates that individual who's setting this little prayer mat for me, may Allah reward them. They will feel positive about what they're doing, and they will be consistent in what they're doing. So the first point was for ourselves, right? That don't put yourself down, appreciate it, but also appreciate other people when they do something very small. And when I say the word small, I'm saying relatively speaking. So to you, maybe it looks small, but in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. To you, it seems like it's small, but in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's accepted. To you, something seems such a great deal, like an amazing conference. Imagine the biggest Islamic conference. Can you imagine hundreds and thousands of people coming in? 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 mu'mineen and mu'minat coming in, walking out, all these lectures, and Allah would just say, I don't accept this? Wow. All that planning gone, down the drain. Imagine your biggest program, Fastathon. You're putting in all your effort, whatever you have. You're getting the right type of speaker, the right type of food, the right time to have it, the right place to have it, doing everything you can. And Allah says, I don't accept it. I accepted your brother's outing. SubhanAllah, like 4 guys who showed up. I accepted that. Your biggest turnout, I don't accept that. Now what happened? Perspective. Right? Very important. So if you appreciate the small things as much as you appreciate the bigger things, you will also eradicate a sense of arrogance. You will eradicate a sense of arrogance. Because now, if you do something big or you do something small, it's the same thing to you. And you will instill a sense of ihsan, because you'll do it with excellence. Because you won't just be like, oh yeah, I'll just put this rug right here. No, I have to put it centered in the room in front of the camera. You care about it now. as much as you would care about if the rug is for it wasn't fasatan. Same level, ihsan. These things are instilled and arrogance is eradicated. It's beautiful. If you just approach with a different perspective. Just to say that I'm not going to disdain something small. The hadith said, don't overlook any deed. They're all important, right? Second part, I kind of alluded to this already. Keeping a positive vibe, make it a great impact. Why? How did I come to the positive vibe? Because the hadith said, even if you're meeting your Muslim brother with a cheerful face, right? Even if you're meeting your Muslim brother with a cheerful face. I said this very emphatically in yesterday's lecture. I said that, look, it was in narrated Ibn Majah that the hadith says that the better believer is the believer who deals with the annoyance of people and the burdens of people and is with them and supporting them. Than the believer who does not deal with the people. The better believer is the Muslim who listens to other people complain. And he's there like, okay, I'll listen to you, I'll help you. Not I run away from you. I'm leave, that's your problem, you're on your own. The better believer is the one who's there to give support. So, you can't really give support if you look upset at somebody the entire time they're talking to you. Someone's coming to you, talking to you, asking you for support and help, you're like, yeah, let's get this over with, bro. Like, let's just do this, whatever. Sit down, knock it out, get out of my life. You have to give a positive vibe. It's actual manners, right? So keeping that cheerful face, brothers, sisters, a youth director or youth organizer was speaking to me last night, and he asked us, we were in a gathering, he said that, how do you get people to improve in their sense of taqwa? Big question, right? How do you get people to improve in their sense of taqwa? Wow! The first answer came from our previous youth director. He said you can't measure that, so that's discussed and finished and completed and put away to the side. You can't measure taqwa. And he made some other points. I made an additional point. My point was this. I said, as organizers, forget organizers, as brothers and sisters, we don't make ourselves accessible enough to people. We don't make ourselves accessible enough to people. How can I help someone have more taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if they themselves don't come to me and don't see me as a sense of resource for them? Does that make sense? So if you go up to your Muslim brother and sister and you're never smiling, no one's going to talk to you. No one's going to approach you. No one's going to say, you're not even going to have a problem to deal with because no one's going to come and say, can you help me? Because they don't want your help because you don't look like you want to give help. Because you're not smiling. You're doing your own thing. So my point is, if you do keep a positive vibe, you may make a greater impact. Because people might say, this guy, he seems like I can talk to him. He seems very relaxed. And I told him, I'm like, look, I told the brother next to me, because he was wearing a thobe and a kufi, I said, look, if you dress like this, I was also wearing a thobe, mind you. If you dress like this, people will not think you're approachable. So you have to fight against it to show you're approachable. And then I pointed the guy next to me who was wearing a hockey jersey. I said, and if you dress like him, people will not approach you and ask you about knowledge about Islam. So you have to fight that stereotype too. Even though the guy in the hockey jersey has knowledge of Islam, right? And the guy in the thobe is very approachable, right? But people think what people think, and you have to fight against both stereotypes. And you start that with a smile, right? You start that with a smile. So you know what? Let's talk, whatever it is, right? And it's very important. It's a big part of adab. So if you guys talk about brotherhood and sisterhood a lot, MSAs and college campus, brotherhood and sisterhood. I was talking to, I think a few years back, 3 years back, I was talking to my friend from Wayne State, and we were just bouncing ideas off each other for MSA purposes. And we were talking about how do we make a bigger impact for brotherhood and sisterhood. And he said, look, I don't know about the sisters, but for the brothers on our campus, we have this system where, the brothers are actually paired up. It's like the Muhajirun and the Ansar. It's like the Muhajirun and the Ansar. They actually paired up, and they actually, when he was there, maybe they're doing a better job now, I don't know, but when he was there, they were actually focused on, like, this brother, I am assigned to this brother. Like how you have Quran buddy, you guys have Quran buddy, whatever it is, I don't know if you guys have that going on still now or not, but if you have a pair that you're specifically associated with, and you should not be someone on the board, you should be someone not in the board, right? You actually focus, and you actually make time to say, hey, how's your day going? And I gave this lecture in a khutbah before. You guys remember that? It was about brotherhood. I came and I gave that lecture. This is also a practice on the Tabligh Jamaat, that they have people assigned to look out for them and say, hey, how are you doing? Is everything okay? These are principles instilled in many realms of Islamic movements and deen. We have to just take it. But it starts with a smile, it starts with adab, it starts with etiquette. To say, how do you approach people? You have to keep a positive vibe. You have to keep a positive vibe. I know you have issues going on in your life, no doubt. That's why we're all here with issues. I have issues in my life right now. We all have issues in our life right now. If you don't have issues, I'm surprised. Right? You're supposed to have issues. Congratulations. Right? Allah says, give glad tidings to the strangers. Congratulations. Passing on the message to you. But beyond that, like it's narrated in Ibn Majah, the better believer is the one who deals with it and still helps people. Right? That's a different lecture. I have to focus on this lecture. I'm going to go on the actual lecture if I do that. Third point. Providing emotional support is a form of charity. Right? Think about it like that. If you find it really hard as a college student and that you're broke, you can't give money, one thing college students have, even if they don't have money, they have a lot of drama in their lives. Right? So I'm sure people need emotional support somewhere. Right? I'm sure people need emotional support somewhere. Whether you're a brother or a sister, I'm sure people need emotional support somewhere. And I'm sure you can give that easily. And that is a form of charity. Because when you're doing that, you're doing it correctly. If you're doing it correctly, you're smiling. You're maybe going on TV, giving them some space to breathe, and letting them feel better, letting them even cry in front of you, whatever it is, but you're being there as a support, as a brother or a sister, whatever it may be. So this is important. Second point. This is the crux of today's lecture, so pay attention, and I have to turn around because I don't have the internet right now. Abu Hurairah reported, the Messenger of Allah said, on every joint of man there is charity. On every day when the sun rises, doing justice between two men is charity. And assisting a man to ride an animal or to load his luggage on it is charity. And a good word is charity. Every step which one takes towards the mosque for salat is charity. And removing harmful things from the way is charity. Bukhari and Muslim. The list is here. Just so it's easier for you guys to see it. And we'll talk about these things very briefly one by one. The first thing is on the joint of every man is charity when the sun rises. Right? And the understanding and the commentary of that part of hadith is that it's an obligation upon us, it's a duty upon us, that when we wake up, when the sun rises when you woke up basically, right? Which kind of tells you when you should wake up, right? But when the sun rises at that point, but this actually alludes to Salat Duha, regardless. You have to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for every joint in your body. Now, you guys know how many joints we have? Feet, men or something? Yeah, disappointment. Whatever. There's a bunch of joints in your body. You have to be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all of them. All of them. And this is when the sun rises, meaning in the morning. In the morning. This is an etiquette that you would have at your house. Does that make sense? This is an etiquette you would have at your house. And I want to comment on this very briefly. And I want you guys to take this as an action item. Right? If you can. In the morning, before school, before any of that stuff, maybe even before breakfast, maybe you just have some water, that's about it. After Salah, this is when the sun rises. So sunrise meaning you can't pray Fajr anymore, right? Sunrise, at that point, for 15 to 20 minutes. So that point is referring to praying Salat Duha, right? After the 20 minutes of sunrise and you pray, and that prayer itself, some scholars say, is an indication of you thanking Allah for all the joints in your body. That's one way of doing that. Nonetheless, my point is this: after Fajr Salah or in the morning, early morning, what we should do to actually thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before we actually thank Him, we should do our best to ask forgiveness. So we thank Allah, we say things after Salah like Alhamdulillah 33 times, we know these things, right? But beyond that, guys, it's to take a few moments. Actually, it's not a few moments. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes. So it takes some time. Take about 10 to 15 minutes to say istighfar for 70 times at least. Just 70 times. 70 times, right? You can just say Astaghfirullah Rabbi min kulli dhanbi wa atubu ilayh. Allah, we can give a dua, we can send them out, you guys have a dua book. Right? If it's too hard, just say Astaghfirullah. Just say Astaghfirullah. Right? I seek forgiveness in Allah. 70 times. This is an actual thing you have to do, by the way. You can't just be like, cool, sounds cool, like, great concept, bro. Like, no, you have to do it. Right? Something else. Sending salawat. Right? Before I start this lecture, I give salawat. What is salawat? Salawat is when you send the salutations and blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You can additionally go on to his family and the Sahaba. Right? Sending salawat. 70 to 100 times. Do it. When you're doing these things, you stop yourself from doing other things. You take a huge break. And though you might not realize it, you are dedicating that time solely for the sake of Allah. How often do you and I dedicate time solely for the sake of Allah? And we don't, and it is something that's not entertaining. So, this lecture is entertaining. When you go to your classes, Islamic lectures, halaqas, they're entertaining. Why are they entertaining? Why are they entertaining? The speaker might say something that resonates. The speaker might say something that's funny. The speaker might say something that you care about. They resonate. So those are easy things to do. Coming to this lecture is easy to do. You're sitting, you can ignore me most of the time, then I say something you like, oh, I like that, cool, you listen to it, you can move on. That's about it. This is easy. But in the morning, no one is entertaining you. You are just by yourself. You have dedicated time solely for the sake of Allah. Does that make sense? And then you are focused, you're thinking, Astaghfirullah. You are saying, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. You are saying it. There is no entertainment there. But there's sweetness there that will be felt in the heart if continued consistently. It's a different discussion. So in order to do this, in order to actually give our due that goes to our joints, for us to get up in the morning and carry out our day, we have to first start by thanking Allah. And of course the best of things is to say Alhamdulillah. Right? The best of things is to say Alhamdulillah. So that's point number one. And when you do that, you have paid off the charity that was due on you. Usually charity is understood as what? Giving what I just want to give, right? Charity is extra stuff, right? It's not zakat. Zakat is mandatory. Charity is I want to give $1, I want to give $2, I want to give no dollars. It's all good. In the hadith is talking about this is due for the joints in your body. So every day this is due to Allah. We have to give it. Different kind of charity. But the rest of them are what we were talking about right now. It's additional. We're talking about them, right? So the second one is be just between people. Be just between people. So quick etiquette tip or whatever for college students. And I always talk about this. And I was talking to someone about this last night. Like what he was telling me is like, bro, I do my best to make sure that when people come to me with stories, I don't just take it in. When people come to me about other people and they say other things about other people, I don't just accept it as it is. Until I've heard from that other individual what their end of the story is. Right? That just because it's my best friend coming to tell me that so-and-so said so-and-so, or so-and-so said something, I don't just believe them. It doesn't mean I don't trust you. It doesn't mean you're lying. But it does mean I'm being unfair. Right? Because some people will say, you don't trust me? This is exactly what happened. This is exactly what happened. I didn't cause that accident, they did. I didn't cause that. I didn't cause it. Maybe you were in their blind spot, I don't know. This happens commonly. So we have to be just between people. One example of that happens in college environments or with college youth or our age is that people come and tell us stories. Our friends come and tell us stories. And they have all these stories to tell about other people that portray other people negatively. And we can sit there and be like, yeah, bro, you're so right. I hate that person too. Right? Or you can say, okay, what else happened? Why did this happen? How did this happen? And that usually upsets people because they get offended, right? They're like, again, you don't trust me, you don't believe me. But like, I trust you, I just don't understand well enough. I don't have enough intellect to understand. I have a weakness in my understanding. I am weak, I need to understand, so I need you to help me. Nothing to do with you. And then I would follow up with the next person to say, hey, did this actually happen? Otherwise, what happens in this society is that you keep believing these half-truths, and we talked about this in the last lecture of hypocrisy. You hear these half-truths from people, and you take it as full truth, and you live a life of delusion. You live a life of delusion. And you think, oh, this brother thinks like this about me. Guess what he said about you? The way she looked at you, did you notice that? And you're like, what? Never came to my head. Right? But in Surah Nas, the last ayah says, Jinnati wan nas. Protect us from jinn kind and mankind. This is the mankind that comes to you and tells you these things. You protect from them too. Right? So when you're just between people, make sure that you actually hear people out. Action item, actually think about it. So next time someone comes to you, why don't you say, this is what happened, oh my God. Say, okay, ask more, inquire more. If you really care about me listening to your story, you better come with the full story. Otherwise, you're wasting my time, you're wasting your time, and you're backbiting. And if you're telling me a story, you better expect a solution from me. It's not always a vent session. You better expect a solution from me. Because otherwise, you're backbiting. And that's what ends up happening all the time, right? Stop using this whole privilege of, I'm your friend, so I'll listen to you backbite. Well, I switched the words, right? I switched the words. I'm your friend, so I'll listen to you vent. I didn't say vent, I said backbite. I'm your friend, so I'll listen to you backbite. That's what we say. That's what we tell people. I'm your friend, so I'll listen to you backbite. Keep backbiting. I'm your friend, so I'll listen to you backbite. Don't say vent anymore. Don't say the word vent anymore. Take that word out. That's this society's word. Don't say that anymore. Every time someone comes to you, say, oh yeah, I want to hear you backbite. Tell yourself that. Okay, I'm going to listen to you backbite. Go ahead. Do that. You want an action item? Do that. See how you feel. The word vent is so toxic. It's so toxic. It's like Shaitan came up with the word. Right? It's like, here's a word to make you feel better about what you're doing. Justification. Take it. Easy. Just throw it in there. Stop using that word. Actually, stop using the word vent. Other than ventilation, other than that, don't use the word vent. If you're in HVAC, you can use vent. Other than that, no one can use vent, okay? Stop using that word, please. It creates a culture. I don't like using that word. I try to use that word as less as possible. Right? Do you want me to listen to you complain? Okay. Difference. So you have to be just with people. So when people come to you with backbiting and complaints, be just. Right? Third point. Basic formula of physical health, removing harmful things. So the hadith talks about helping someone with their luggage, right, their load, or carrying something for them, or helping them mount up with their camel, or maybe you open the door for somebody. These are basic forms of just etiquette. Whether you're a man or a woman, just hold the door for somebody. Just hold the door. Whoever's first, just hold the door. Don't be that person who waits for other people to hold the door for you. Go hold the door. You're losing out on rewards. Hold the door. Subhanallah, just hold it. Doesn't hurt, right? The only time I would say don't hold the door is if you're teaching a younger kid, so they go and hold the door. That's about it. Other than that, go hold the door. And actually, you teach that kid by you go hold the door for him and say, hey, you open the door for the younger kid, right? That's how you teach younger kids. But in general, other than teaching, do your part. This is charity. You get rewarded. Hold the door. Think about it like this. Every time you hold the door for somebody, it's a form of charity. So if I go and hold the door for somebody, wow, you're so nice. I was with one of the executive directors in my company. So this guy's level is equal to my boss's boss's boss, right? And there's a lead engineer. So a lead engineer, right? He's holding the door for us. We're going out for dinner. He's holding the door. My boss's level guy, he comes behind him and says, let me hold it. And the other guy says, no, I insist. I'm there like, okay, I'll just walk in, right? That's all I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna walk in. And the executive director is like, no, let me hold it. And then the lead engineer steps back. I've never seen someone take the door from somebody before. The lead engineer steps back, let the director hold it, and this man held the door every time we went. And I said, subhanallah, Sayyidul Awli Khadimuhum, this is an example of that. The leader of the people is their servant. He had the highest position in our group when we traveled, and this man was holding everybody's door. He's not even Muslim. I'm like, man, wow. He took the door from him, like, give me this reward, right? And the other guy was so like, no, I insist. Have you heard someone say, no, I insist? Do you hear language like this? These are not Muslims. You see how we're all happy hearing this story? Just like that, if we were to do this, we would make someone else feel the same way. That someone else would smile the way you were smiling right now hearing this story. And it could be because of us, not because of other people. We can make this impact, right? By small forms of charity like this. So even if you're really broke, it doesn't make a difference. Right? Because money is not a deciding factor in Islam. It's not a factor at all. Money is not a factor. It can either take you to hell or heaven, that's about it. But it can go either way. Don't think like that. Just like how this guy, and he has the most money out of all of us, right? So it doesn't matter. Adab, etiquette, very important. Very important. Good words is such the message. Good words, okay. This is important. What time is it? 5:30. Good words. This itself is a form of charity. So I have this one brother, and I talked to him, and he was like, if there was one thing I could improve on, Sayyid, what would you tell me for me to improve on? He's going to listen to this lecture too, it's pretty funny. And I said, to be honest, I don't know much of your mistakes, because we haven't interacted at a level where I can pick out your mistakes, but you praise people too much. You praise people too much. He does that. And he's like, I'm just trying to be positive, whatever it is. And, this is not a thing that I would tell regular people as something to fix about themselves, right? The brother, mashallah, is good in many sense, right? So for that, I have to give a higher standard for him. Does that make sense? You can always improve. I'm not going to tell him nothing. He's coming to me for actually nasiha. And I told him, you're making people feel awkward. You make me feel awkward when you compliment me too much. You compliment the other brother too much. Stop, right? I can compliment you too, but I don't because you'll feel awkward, right? That itself is etiquette, right? But this brother, his main thing is always saying good. He's always saying good about people, right? I have to give him something, right? Otherwise, it's like, no. So, what we do is we lack that. Our advice that we should be getting is to be more like him, right? We have to be more like him in the sense that, actually not more like him, more like the Prophet ﷺ, who gave a measured amount of good words, right? A measured amount of good words. Because if you're like him, I'll give you the same advice, stop doing it, you're doing too much, right? But if you're like Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, measured amount of good words. Enough to make someone feel positive but not arrogant. Enough to motivate somebody but not to make them think like they're on top of the world. That's spreading a good word. But etiquette also, brothers and sisters, is avoiding bad words. It's avoiding bad words. I talk way too much. But to be honest, we all talk way too much. Everyone in this room talks way too much. Even if you think you're a very quiet person, I'm still going to say you talk way too much. Because a lot of us who consider ourselves to be quiet people, when exposed to the right people, we talk a lot. So that doesn't make you a quiet person. You still talk too much. You're just in the wrong environment. I just need to put you in the right environment and you'll start talking. Doesn't that happen? So don't think like, oh yeah, I'm a quiet person because no, that just means you're shy. There's a difference. Quiet people, like I see examples from my teacher, rarely talks. He rarely talks, and that's his training. Because his teacher trained him to talk less. So his focus, whether he's in a masjid or at home or hanging out with us, he rarely talks. He just trains himself in talking less. That's his focus. Training in talking less. Can you imagine this? So how many bad words do you think comes out of his mouth? I'm not saying bad words like the F word or something. No. I'm saying bad words like words that hurt people's feelings. I'm saying bad words like that lead to gossip and backbiting. I'm saying bad words that take you direct to Jahannam. I'm saying those words. I'm not talking about F words. That's beyond us, I would hope. If there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'll count 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of us. if you're of the few of all the Muslims on campus that came here, I would hope your goal is beyond just let me not say the F word. I would hope that. It's more to the fact of maybe I'm saying words that are permissible, but the way I arrange them make them hurtful. That's a big deal. We keep doing this. I keep hearing stories from people, and it saddens me, it upsets me because I see the people, right? And they attend the lectures, and they attend the gatherings, and I know who they are. And I still hear stories that this person is saying this, and this person is saying that, and this person made me feel this way, and this person hurt my feelings. And I'm like, how is this still, like, these lectures are not useful. These lectures are not useful. And yeah, it's not useful. Because I make mistakes too, myself, but it's just sad. And like, I heard one story the other day, and I was so mad hearing about it, hearing the people involved in it. I didn't even know how to reply. Like, when your standard is here for people, and all of you guys are your standards here right now, and we behave like this, there's no comment that's needed at that point. Just you're on your own. There's no one needs to correct you. You have more than enough ilm. You probably ever known about the hadith before I said it. You have the ilm, right? You don't have the amal. That's a problem. When someone has ilm and has amal, then they become an alim, right? But we are just students. We are just students. Good words is important, guys. Try saying more good words. Try saying less bad words. And again, by bad words I'm talking about words that are hurtful, words of gossip. It's disgusting. It's actually, when I see people who behave like this, like I might smile at them, but in my heart I'm not happy seeing them. Because if I know people are like this, they have this behavior, it's hard for me to feel like I'm one of them, because I don't want to be one of them. If I join that gathering, I'm gonna become just like them. And you all have to think the same way, right? That I love them a lot. I care for them. I'm not saying I'm better than them, I have my mistakes, but this mistake is very evident. And this mistake is very public. And this mistake is a form of indecency in public. And they're proud of it because they're laughing, they're smiling, and they're enjoying each other. That's a big mistake and no one's hiding it. We all make mistakes, we all have sins. Some are hidden, some are public. So, if it's public, I really don't want to be part of it, right? So I want to stick to my lack of words. If people think I'm not smart, that's not my problem. If people think I can't lead, that's not my problem. Allah's going to think I say good things, that's what I care about. Good words goes a long way. Good words go a long way. Last one. Steps to the masjid. I should just say steps to MSA, right? You might like hearing that instead. No, masjid, not MSA. MSA is just there. MSA should be one of the steps to the masjid, right? The stepping stone to the masjid. That even taking steps towards the masjid is a form of charity. Wow. You go to the masjid only to benefit, and when you're going to benefit, you benefit even more. You're giving by going, but you're going for yourself. How is that giving? That's deen. That's Islam. That you're going to get, and you get more because Allah is saying, hey, I know you're going for yourself, but I'm going to treat it like you're giving. I know you're going for yourself, I'm going to treat it like you're giving. Imagine someone paying you money, and you're like, this is charity. That's what's happening. But the point that I want to make is that this reward of charity for us college students, right? Someone asked me before, multiple people asked me, why is the outcome for Dearborn MSA's audience so small, so little, right? I said, well, the answer is several answers I can give, but one answer is that most of the students here, for those who are practicing or trying to improve themselves, they're commuting students. So you're having a halaqah here at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, and tonight they have a halaqah at the local masjid, right? If there's a program going at ICD tonight, or Masjid Salam tonight, they're probably not going to come to your MSA lecture, right? You got Said Khan coming, they got like somebody else coming. They got Shahsinaman Hani coming, right? Big difference. Big difference. That's one reason. There are other reasons, I don't need to go to those, but that's one reason why the outcome is so small. I asked a group of volunteers the other day, and I asked them, are you guys okay with having 3 to 4 people come to your program? Can you handle that? Can you continuously come with 5 volunteers only to cater to 3 audience members? Can you do that? If you can, you should have this program. It's a hard question to answer, right? 5 people coming together to organize one event on a weekly basis to cater to 3 people. That's ikhlas. That's sincerity, right? Is that sincerity? A form of sincerity. I added more details. I said, look, if these 3 people come continuously and they leave this program and they start and they finish, just like this program, that's what I want from this program. So when Mahmoud was talking to me, I said, if just, I said this at the beginning, right? Just 5, 6 people come, we got to do MSA board for next year. Remember that? Remember that comment from you guys that came? 5, 6 people come consistently for this series from start to finish. We have a potential MSA board next year. But we don't teach them adab at least, right? We'll teach them skills, no problem. We will teach you all this meeting minutes, we got you, no problem. We will teach you how to take minutes. Adab, you got to check yourself. Adab is where organizers lose themselves, right? No adab, don't organize. But that's my focus too. That if I can just get a group of people who I keep seeing consistently, that's impactful. Just like the first point we made, don't disdain any small deed or any deed. Because this is a big deal. It's a big deal. But brothers and sisters, the point of the masjid itself, yes, I get the point of Dearborn MSA having a low audience because people go to the masjid perhaps, sure. And I said that's one reason, but that's not the main reason that is the overwhelming reason for everything and the lack of audience. No, there are things we can improve, no doubt. But all of us, particularly men, we lack in attending the masjid. Right? We lack in attending the masjid. That actually to pray in the masjid for salah is a big duty for men. Right? There are sisters who don't have a space in the masjid. And they are upset about the fact that they don't have space. We have space in every single masjid and it remains empty. This is our condition as men. That there are masjids with no space for sisters, and sisters are complaining and upset that they can't have any space. We have all the space, and that's all it remains as a space until Ramadan for the first 10 days. Maybe. That needs to change. That needs to change tremendously. That you need to figure out a schedule and a system that regardless of what you're doing, there's 15-minute time blocks for you to pray at the masjid. That regardless of what you're doing, that there's time for you to at least start with praying Isha at the masjid. Why did I say Isha? It's at the end of the day. Most of your affairs are done. If you have a steady schedule in the Western life, either your school is done or your work is done, right? You're not tired, maybe you're not too sleepy because Fajr is much harder than Isha. So you can go to Isha Salah, right? In the masjid. We gotta start there. And every step or every mile you drive is a charity for you. Right? Every time you hit the gas pedal, it's a charity for you. You have to think like that because it is like that. And we have to start doing that. That coming to MSA is not enough for us just to sing our spirituality or our manners. We have to go to the masjid. And if you go, you get the reward of charity. You get more reward for it. Right? You get more reward for it. Sisters have the privilege of being at home and getting the same reward of brothers who are going to the masjid. So I don't have to explain more than that. I mean, it is what it is. Congratulations. Right? Next point. What time is it right now? 51. So this is the main thing. Being broke doesn't mean we can't give charity. I gave you all these examples of how to give charity, right? We covered one by one by one. And maybe for next week's question we can ask, give like forms of charity. But the first thing we should understand is what? We have to start with charity where? Where? What was the first point of charity? What? can't hear that, so I'm saying smile before that. The first. First. Don't think of my hadith. No, don't think of the order here, guys. Think in terms of your life. Where would the first form of charity be? I discussed it, yes. Exactly. When you wake up when the sun rises, before you look at anybody, before you see anybody, before anyone comes into your life, before you can help anybody, you help yourself by getting rid of what's due upon you, by thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the joints in your body. That's the first point. And it's the first point of the hadith as well. Right? That's how you start. Start with the Creator, then go to the creation. Start with the Creator, then go to the creation. After you get, and by the way, you are not giving charity to Allah, like here you go Allah, like Allah doesn't need that. No. You are just paying off the debt that's due upon you you are in debt because of the joints in your body. You have to pay off that loan. That happens through thanking Allah. After you thank Allah, you have finally paid off the loan to maintain your body for that day. Next day comes, you have a loan again to pay. No interest. Right? But you have to pay. You have to pay. And then you go to the creation. All these examples are there, right? So for us, when we're in college students, and I said this in the beginning, I said when Ramadan comes and people are donating, or fundraisers come and people are donating, right? I would say at least give $1 to every donation or opportunity that comes your way. And if that dollar is also too much, that's okay. But you need to make dua for that fundraising opportunity on the spot, right there. Right then and there. You can't raise your hand up this way, you raise it like this. Does that make sense? You can't raise your hand like this, you raise it like this. Just say, I'm going to make dua for this opportunity. And then you make dua again. You make a follow-up dua. Now, Ya Allah, next year give me the opportunity to actually raise my hand like this too. Right? Yeah, and that goes on to say that just because you raise your hand to give money doesn't mean you don't make dua. You have to make dua too. Right? Dua is always. It's not that, oh yeah, my money comes with this for my dua. Never. Never. Right? Understanding that is important. Last thing in terms of charity, before we conclude, long hadith, well not long hadith with the additional points. He said, I heard Messenger of Allah say that he who believes in Allah in the last day should accommodate his guest according to his right. He was asked, what is his right, O Messenger of Allah? He said, it is to accommodate him for a day and a night. And hospitality extends for 3 days. And what is beyond that is charity. What is beyond that is, wow, we can't even do the minimum 3 days of entertaining somebody. We have someone come over our house for like 2 hours, we get tired, like, oh my God, get out of here, right? I gotta wash these dishes. That's what you're thinking in your head. But in reality, look at this. Hospitality extends for 3 days, and what is beyond that is charity. Let's continue. In Muslim it is added, Rasulullah said that, it is not permissible for a Muslim to stay so long with his brother until he makes him sinful. This is important. It is not permissible for a Muslim to stay so long with his brother till he makes him sinful. He was asked, O Messenger of Allah, how can he make him sinful? He replied, he prolongs his stay with him until nothing is left but the host to entertain him, the guest. Did you guys follow that hadith or no? Did you guys follow that hadith or no? Everyone followed it? Cool. Good. I was expecting someone to go like this. You have a question?
I'm trying to read it.
Oh, good. So, when I heard this, I was confused. My teacher was teaching this, and I didn't follow it, so I was like, what is he talking about? I'm kind of confused. I didn't understand it. How are you making it sinful? The idea is this, just to understand, that if I am the guest, right, and I'm coming to your house, I'm coming to Mahmoud's house, I'm your guest, right, and I stay for, let's say, 3 days, which don't worry, won't happen, don't get scared, right, but I stay for 3 days, let's say, right, if I overstay my welcome, it becomes a burden on you to take care of me now, right? It becomes a burden on you to take care of you. Rasulullah said that, look, it is not permissible for him to stay till he makes him sinful. If you can't take care of me, you'll be sinful. But it's not permissible for me to stay so long that I make you sinful. Did you guys follow that example? So let's use the example of 3 days. Let's say I can stay at your house for 3 days, right? If I stay at your house for 4 days, you don't have enough money to take care of me for 4 days. So you are not helping me as a brother. So that's a mistake on your end. Now, so the Prophet is saying it's a bigger mistake on my end for staying for 4 days when I know you can't provide. I'm imposing on you. That's a good way of explaining it. When as a guest you impose on your host and you burden them, that is not permissible. That is adab, right? So obviously, I don't think anybody reaches this point of 3 days in this society at all, unless you have family coming over from like some other country or something, or a different state to stay over. Even then, you have to understand. But as a quick etiquette for us to understand in our context, let's talk about our context. We take the hadith, we derive examples that make sense and doesn't contradict the hadith of Quran and Sunnah, right? When we attend people's homes, we should be mindful of what their provisions are, right? We should be mindful of what their provisions are. And we don't ask for what kind of juice you got, right? Sometimes you're very cool with the people, right? Well, let me go check in your fridge, right? You open the fridge, you're like, oh, you don't got orange juice today? You don't got mango juice? Right? I should flip it. You don't got mango juice today? I like mango juice. You don't got mango juice today? You got orange juice, right? And you make the person feel bad, right? They're like, oh man, like now I can't even, provide properly. When we go to people's houses, the idea is about hospitality. When we go to people's houses as guests, right? And we complain about the food, or we make this tasteful faces from eating their food, that's a lack of etiquette, lack of manners, right? We could probably give an entire lecture on etiquette of eating. Oh my gosh. Eating by yourself versus eating with people, what kind of food you're eating, how you're eating, oh my gosh. How much you're eating, it could be an entire lecture. But just on the aspect of hospitality, by the way, which goes to show that we don't know a lot, right, about eating etiquettes. My point was to show that we don't know a lot about eating etiquettes, right? I interact with a lot of people, I got to eat with a lot of people, and I notice how people eat and how they maintain themselves. And I'm not blaming anybody, but I'm saying we just don't know. And we have to know, we have to figure that out. But beyond that, the hospitality aspect, that when we go visit people, we don't make it a burden upon them. Right? Be mindful of whose house you're entering. Don't make comments about people's homes. That might hurt them. Don't do that. People do it so naturally, like, oh, why is that there? You weren't here for the planning session, I'm sorry. Someone planned it before you. That just happens to be there. Right? Don't give those comments. That's a lack of etiquette. It's a lack of manners. People do these things. People start commenting on these things. Right? Be mindful when you're a guest at people's houses. Other side, when you're hosting people, make sure people feel welcome. Right? That they don't actually feel like a guest at your house. That they can say, hey, what kind of juice you got? Right? You make that environment. That's how deen works, right? If both people do their job, that guy will feel like, I know I can ask for what juice I have, but I won't ask it. And the guy who's hosting him will say, I'm going to make sure there's mango juice there, right? That's how it's going to be. It's being mindful of each other. That's manners. The way to have the most manners in our daily activities is for us to become mindful of the people around us, and that's it, period. If we can just do that, we'll have so much more etiquette. I brought this up because this comes in the same category of Kitab al-Adab, these are the Salihin, so I figured there might be interesting for us to just comment on it briefly. It was not the crux of this discussion, as I mentioned, but I figured maybe it's nice to know these things, that when it comes to dealing with people, right, we always give more and we always take less. We always give more, we always take less. And when two parties do that, it's beautiful. Because that means two people are giving more and two people are always taking less. Right? And that's how you have a bond, that's a relationship. That's actually love between brothers. That's actually love between sisters. Right? That's actually love between families. And that's like beyond sacrifice. When that happens, no one feels like anyone is sacrificing because everyone's always giving. Right? And you get rewarded for that. Right? My first question that I asked you guys was, How can we optimize the lack of money in our lives? By actions. By actions. That's it. If we can just focus on that, just treat people with kindness, hold the door, small things, thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, help someone carry something, remove something from the street, something that's harmful, say good words, avoid bad words, charity left and right. Feed people, all these things are charity. Left and right. We just need to appreciate people, we just need to be kind to people. If we can just figure these few things out, our sense of etiquette will skyrocket. Will skyrocket. To a point, and I'll say this, if all of us in here on this campus had amazing attitude and amazing character, had that positive vibe I mentioned, we would not need an MSA. What's the vision for the MSA? What's the objective of the MSA? Who can tell me? Dear Board's objective for the MSA, what is it? No one knows? To provide a safe haven for mothers and sisters and to provide Islamic knowledge. That's the goal of any MSA. Why do you have a club for Muslims? You're all Muslims. Why do you have a club for it? Because you need a safe space. You need a place where you can be recognized and you can identify with others like you. But if everybody in this campus had stellar attitude and stellar etiquette, you would not need an MSA. MSA is useless at that point because you would just be, every day would be MSA, right? You would just be with the brothers. You would just be with the sisters. You don't need to have a plan for an outing and make a flyer and do all these things and promote. The sisters would just go out. Maybe they would maybe go to someone's house. Sisters do that yet? Brothers do that yet? That's an outing. Go to someone's house. Become their guest. Right? You don't need MSA. That's like up here. We're not up here yet, so we need MSA. Let's keep MSA for now. Keep it positive, but don't think MSA is the answer. Again, MSA is not the masjid. MSA is a step to the masjid. The masjid is the answer. Right? So, we'll conclude that inshallah. But keep this form of charity in your mind. Be positive. Have a positive attitude. Smile at people. Don't smile too much at people. You might give people the wrong idea. But smile at people. Be positive towards people. Right? And just do your best to be kind. That's it. And avoid the bad words. That's my last thing I want, because that's like a trigger for me, right? Avoid the bad words. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Jazakallahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.